Hello, everyone. Welcome back to yet another political episode. So, we got to talk about the 2026 midterms. We talked about the midterms yesterday in regards to those this recruiting issue we're having, and a couple of recruitments. We got John James in, and I would like to see Stacey Garrity in the said Pennsylvania governor's race. I want to believe Congressman Tiffany from Wisconsin could be challenging Evers, excuse me. But we're going to talk more about regards to the House of Representatives, because the House of Representatives is very important. In fact, it's kind of in a knife's edge. You'll see Republicans are currently leading in the House of Representatives in my projection, but Democrats are winning 3 seats. You'll see there really isn't a change in regards to the balance of power. Republicans currently have 220 seats in the United States House of Representatives. Democrats, 215. Well, I believe they have less, actually, because of... So let's actually pull up. 2026. Yeah, I believe they have less because of the death of the 2 congressmen from Houston and the Pima County area in Arizona. But you can clearly see here, current seats 220, 213. Democrats, they will reboot up to 2. They will probably gain 2. And of course, Houston, that one district in Houston, and this district too, they're very likely to go Democratic. I'm not expecting any sort of surprise there. But 215, that would give them 215, and this is what it would look like going in. The question is, will it look the same? Well, my projection is saying yes, it will have the same numbers, which is very unprecedented, but different alignments. And I really don't think this is going to make its way through, although there is some sort of coattail effect that comes and follows. First off, main second is blue. Why? Dan Goldman is running for re-election, which I would rather him run for governor, but he is absolutely beatable. Like, let's see how Goldman performed in 2024. Yeah, Goldman came very close to losing his seat to Austin Thurald, who only won the 2nd district by like 0.6%. That's barely anything. And sure, it could be, he could therefore win in regards to crossing the threshold when it comes to that. Again, due to the said low propensity voters, the Republicans, will they show up, yada yada yada. But in blue states, I've noticed Republicans tend to be the likely ones to turn out, even though, like, especially the states with the most suppression in regards, like New York and California. So that's why I'm kind of feeling good about this New Jersey governor's race this year. I'm hoping Republicans aren't complacent. I'm hoping issues like crime, sanctuary status in New Jersey, the rivalry in New York is going to get Republicans out and voting. And of course, leadership in Trenton. But it's not about New Jersey today. We're talking about the House of Representatives, which of course is on the line. If this is to be precedent, Democrats would win. And that's what I have this deep theory and keep feeling that could happen, that Democrats would get away with the House of Representatives, but they think they're going to get away with the numbers that they got away with in like 18. They're not ever going to get to those numbers ever again. Let me make myself clear. Why? Because Democrats have lost the rural areas. They've lost their rural areas, and they're probably not getting them back, with exceptions to New England, because New England has always been a place of progressive settlement. But yes, you'll see, let's just say in worst case scenario, Democrats win all 10 toss-up states. And I'm not using the solid colors, taking them for granted. But Democrats, they win every solid state. solids. No, every toss-up seat. What would it look like? Well, if that is to happen, let's go to California. Okay, yeah. So, yeah, it's 217, 203, and ideally, you got 15 electoral votes, not 15 seats that are up for grabs. But ideally, you would see a Democrat Senate plus 20, 220 or something like that. And I doubt they're going to get that number because that is if Republicans don't flip any seats, and I guarantee you they will. First off, we're also talking about two vulnerable seats in Ohio, like Ohio 9, which is that coastal district I like to talk about, a big battleground. And hey, look, Democrats, they just need they just need 3 seats in order to win the majority. Actually, not just 3 seats. That's only to get like 3 seats needed to win to get 318. We can eliminate that. We can make that path much harder by flipping like Ohio 9. And while we're at it, Republican legislature, they can try to get Ohio 13, which is under Amelia Sykes. And ideally, this is a district that did vote for Kamala Harris. So I'm like, okay, in my prediction, I have this district going for Sykes because this was a Harris district, and if we're talking about low propensity voters, I mean, Ohio is pretty Republican in the midterms in 2022. Ohio Republicans had a great year in 2022, actually. I just gave it to let's see here. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and reflect on Ohio. So this is pretty much the worst case scenario for Republicans. And the worst case scenario is not even realistic. I mean, the likelihood Republicans are going to win any seats is very unlikely. And I can guarantee you Republicans are going to do what they can in Ohio to get Ohio 9 and Ohio 13. I mean, this area mainly consists of the southern Cleveland metro, which for the most part is Democratic, but there are some Republican areas, like down here is more Republican. Supposedly you could add a little bit of Ohio 7 or a little bit of Ohio 6 to 13 or a little bit of Ohio 14 to 13 to make this more conservative. You could try to possibly, I don't think you can get Ohio 3, but you could possibly get Ohio 1 a little bit more competitive. Maybe giving this to Ohio 2, ideally, and maybe adding some countryside over here, part of Ohio 8. There's ways to make around. But the very unrealistic scenario would be if you were to say, oh, what would be the Democrats' best scenario, meaning Republicans don't gain anything? Well, Democrats, they are actually only gaining 222 seats. That is nothing what they used to have in 18. That was nothing, because let's go back to 2018. Not too long ago, Democrats were ruling the House of Representatives with 235 electoral votes. Yeah, it was close. But the thing is, they're not getting up to that number again. Because then again, looking at this map, they have rural areas. You have eastern Arizona, excuse me. You also have California, which I can guarantee you, very possible that Republicans could take those 2 districts back if there is some sort of opposite cocktail effect that basically brings Republicans out to vote, mainly against the gubernatorial Democratic nominee, whether that be Kamala Harris, which I honestly would think would be the best scenario for Republicans. I mean, we already saw Kamala Harris and how disastrous she was on the national level. Take a look at a cuckoo for Cocoa Puff state like California, which she has a much better chance of winning. This will only increase the urgency of people to get out and vote. They'll know, obviously, she will win the state of California, but that energy to vote against her could ultimately cost Democrats a couple House seats in California. And who knows? We could possibly put this seat up to grabs. That San Joaquin County, or what used to have that Hispanic district there, put it up for grabs. You could possibly see this district go for Republicans. Parts of Orange County, which these are here, the Orange County districts. This is Anaheim, I want to believe, which will stay blue. Yes, so there you go. Republicans have 202 votes. You also have New York. A Kathy Hochul cocktail effect. The Hochul effect could cost Suozzi his seat in New York 3, the New York 4 congressional seat, and I'm not sure about this district overall. It looks pretty Republican to me. It's just that College and Tompkins County and other areas around that. You could see best case scenario, we would win. This is the best case scenario for Republicans overall. And that gives you to 225. You see what I mean? So obviously, that is what's going on in the midterms. That is, if we really focus in on California and New York, and ultimately, I've said it before, tried to get those 2 seats from Louisiana and Alabama back because they were unconstitutionally stolen. Therefore, Republicans, they should become complacent over this. They need to go and fight for them back because the likelihood that Democrats are going to gerrymander and get this seat is pretty likely. Now Democrats are back up to 209. Okay, so Republicans, they can hold a majority. Yeah, in the likelihood that we're going to get Miller Meeks out because she's just so bad is probably likely otherwise. So we have a chance to make a good performance, especially in those rural areas, in those more bluer states, because that's where all the Democrat corruption is. And this this proportion map pretty much tells us that, yeah, this is, even if we lose the House of Representatives in 2026, Democrats keep the House of Representatives in 2028, Republicans are likely going to take it back in 2030 or 2032. Reasons? Well, Democrats are projected, New York's projected to lose 2 seats in New York. Now, a lot of people will say, oh, well, it could be this seat. This seat's no longer a seat anymore. So taking away this seat, or probably this seat. Or in other words, this district would take over this area, which is highly unlikely. It would be more the borders would have to be redrawn. But they would say, oh, the least unpopulated areas would be Republican areas. But then again, the more populated areas, which you could say are like in the Travis County area, you're taking like Republican suburbs. It's complicated. Red Eagle Politics explained it better. It showed Republicans up to 226, which has, and we know this is an indictment against Democrats. On paper, it looks pretty good for them, but it's an indictment because we know they're scared about this. That's why they're making a big deal. Bill Maher going, Democrats are done. They need to course correct right now. Otherwise, this is what you're getting. And it's absolutely right. The more bluer the state, the more they're losing the vote. So these are pretty much 3 seats going down in California. Texas is gaining 4. Florida is gaining 4. Illinois is losing 1. Wisconsin's losing 1. Minnesota's losing 1. New York's losing 2. Pennsylvania's losing 1. Rhode Island's losing 1. I said Oregon. Idaho's getting one, Utah's getting one, and Arizona's getting one. So it's a pretty dire scenario for the said Democrats. Overall, I do think that, do they have a chance of winning this? Yes, I think this map's very favorable in 2020 for the 2026 election. But then again, future problems, future scenarios, Democrats, they don't course correct. California, they get some stupid lame duck Democrat in California that's just going to continue to bring electoral votes or seats to the Republicans, like -6 now. Or you have New York. New York's not fixed. Kathy Hochul will probably win a second term. Her second term will be probably worse. More people will start to leave, and the situation just gets dire and dire. But anyway, what do you guys think in regards to this video? Let me know down below, and as always, I will see you all in the next political episode.